Good morning, lovely year 12s. Is it really Monday? And you're probably like we are just kind of digesting at the moment the news that Boris Johnson put out last night that there is a potential plan to bring any students who have exams next year, so that would be yourselves as year 12s, you'll be year 13, back into school before the end of the summer. But there is no definite plan being set out. That was a supposition, an idea put forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working on the grounds that these lessons need to be covered. Okay, that it doesn't matter whether we do come back together. This revision, this process that we're going through is so crucial to your ability to be successful next year anyway. Okay, so you're kind of getting used to this process now. So I'm just putting this here for you to look through and to remind yourself of. And as we work together today, we're going to be looking at, okay, lesson 8, under this big umbrella topic of social diversity. Okay, so really looking to revise and ground ourselves, anchor ourselves to a strong understanding that there is diversity in the way we use language as a result of a myriad, really, of social factors. Okay, and what we're looking at this week is moving towards a procedural knowledge. In other words, we've revised some of the theory and the concepts. How does that begin to look for us in an exam? And I've gone straight, like I would if I was a student, to how I would approach this exam, which is going into the section B, question 3, the analysis of 2 texts. Now, I've not shown you what an exam question looks like. I'm just providing you with 2 texts. Last week we looked at the first article. This week we're going to look at the second, just to kind of think about those skills of reading and working together. So in other words, how do we use what we know about theories, ideas, and concepts in a practical way this week to help us analyze and respond to an article that we're reading? Okay, now it has a little change here according to the second article. So we're introducing a second article this week. How are social factors determining a person's use of language? And it's the same simple answer from last week. Well, we won't know until we unpack the article, okay? We can't assume how this article is coming at the problem, coming at the idea of social diversity and social factors until we read it. And it's a little reminder then that this set of skills is not just what we understand as we read the article, but how language is being used to move us towards that understanding. So this is a what and a how kind of set of skills that we need to bring to our lessons this week. So the what, reading for understanding, and the how language is being used. Okay, so we are now introducing that second text. A reminder that that's this the task itself in your paper 2 will be to look at 2 texts that are linked in some way by topic and theme, but to analyze the how, to explain how writers are using language to present their opinions, their ideas, okay? But we are going to look at this text again in isolation this week before we revise the skills of comparison. So if you're big picture people, okay, we're going to look at text 2, second article this week, exactly, or very similarly to what we did last week, that kind of slow, a little bit more pressure, some harder questions coming through, read through, leading to the end of this week, having had a look at 2 articles, then we're going to turn that into a written response, okay, an analysis essay. So I'm not saying you need the other article in front of you for the lessons today, but you might naturally be something like me. My brain naturally makes connections as I read. So when I was looking at this article, preparing the lesson for you guys today, I was already thinking, that links to that point in the article last week. Now, if your brain makes those connections, don't waste that moment. If you see something as we're working today that reminds you of something from the other article, make a note of it somewhere on your page. But at the same time, you don't need to do that explicitly yet. We are still looking at this article in isolation. So it says here this is going to be a more vigorous reading warm-up. Okay, there are going to be some slightly harder questions. Okay, as we read the article together, and some more, and an extension, so more questions to think about. But we're still really revising that process of being active readers. Okay, if you go into this exam in year 13 and cannot read actively, in other words, cannot annotate, cannot track, cannot label, cannot pick out the ideas and concepts as you read and make sure you understand what you're reading, then I would have, failed you. Sounds dramatic, but that's true. That's what I'm trying to teach you. And although I'm teaching you remotely, it's the same thing I would be teaching you in class to revise those skills of labeling language, tracking ideas and concepts, making sure you understand what you read. Okay, so this article is linked by topic. Okay, this is an article that's also about the topic of social diversity. And there will be aspects that will provide points of similarity and difference to last week's article. But we're not necessarily going to make those explicit today, but we will in future lessons. Okay, my lovelies? So make sure you've got a pen. Now, I did say there is an attached PDF Word version of this article. So if you have access to a printer and you prefer to print it off, you can. If you don't have access to a printer, no pressure. You know that this is not meant to be pressurized for any of you guys, okay? All you need to do is look at the screen and then just write your answers down on a piece of paper or in a book, okay, my darlings? So if you can't print them off, don't get anxious. Just follow what's on the screen, okay? So like we saw last week, on each slide there's going to be a section of the article and a series of tasks to complete, okay? A small quiz to check your understanding and learning at the end of the week. And just that little disclaimer again, remember in the exam you'd only really get 7 to 10 minutes preparing one article. So the time we're given to this process is not reflective of how time works in the exam. We will practice that skill later. Okay, so here we go. It says here then, what website is this article from? What is the title of the article? Can you tell me 3 language labels you could apply to the headline at a sentence type, sentence function, word level? And here's your expansion, a little extra question this time. Which words in particular establish the tone and perspective of the writer? So in other words, which words in particular would you pick out that are going to help us think about how this writer is feeling and what their point of view is? So you're just going to pause now, give yourself as long as you need to find the answers to those questions, and then you're going to come back to me and I'm going to give you some of the answers. Okay, darling, so just pause now and work through those questions. Okay, so what website is this article from? Okay, now we know it's a website because we've got our hyperlinks across the tops there. And we can see, interestingly, that the yellow suggests that we're on the Telegraph website in their women's section and life. So this is interesting because although this is dealing with a social issue about accents, okay, it's actually being targeted or suggested that the target audience for this article would be women in the women's section of this newspaper website. Okay, looking at life. Okay, so that's interesting, just direction, and we'll look at what that means as we move through. But Telegraph, okay, so a little reminder that in the exam you're going to get articles from different sources. It could be from newspapers, it could be print-based newspapers, online newspapers, and that immediately creates certain affordances and constraints that we will talk about in a minute. But the Telegraph is an established newspaper. Okay, it has a credible reputation. It's not one of our tabloids. It doesn't come under that banner of being, incredulous, questionable journalism. Okay, so we've got the Telegraph website. Okay, what's the title of the article? Did you get it? Yes. Now, I must confess, this is one of my favorite articles that I teach from because I love this person. Okay, I find them very funny. Okay, so absolutely, it's seemingly a strange title. Shut your face. I'm fed up being ridiculed for my regional accent in academia. So that's our title. Now, as we start to look at the language being used in this headline, it's going to help us then feed into the perspective and the tone of the writer. Okay, so 3 language labels. What did you guys get? Okay, if we were looking at sentence type and function, and we zoomed right in at the beginning here, shut your face. Okay, we've got an exclamatory. Okay, now an exclamatory can sometimes be coupled with an imperative. Okay, this is one of the ways that people are creative with language. And actually, we know this is also an imperative. Why? Yes, because it begins with that verb, shut. So we've got somebody being quite creative in their use of language. You've got the exclamatory combined with the imperative. If you want, it's a simple exclamatory imperative because it's only got one verb in it. And is this person misspelling your? Or are they doing something else? So we've got the shut your face. So your being used there as the determiner, face is the noun. But this your, the spelling of your, what do we think what's being achieved there? Now, if we look across the rest of the headline, it might be some clues for us, okay? So then we go into our declarative. Now, we know it's a declarative, okay, because it doesn't end with an exclamatory. It doesn't end with a question, making it an interrogative. And it doesn't begin with a verb, okay? It begins with that pronoun, that contraction, I'm. So we've got the pronoun I contracted there with the verb am. I'm fed up. Okay, so straight away into that quite strong sounding verb phrase, I'm fed up being ridiculed. Okay, so we've got this complex verb phrase. I'm fed up being ridiculed for my regional accent in academia. So actually, I'm fed up being ridiculed. So there they've created a complex verb relationship, okay, making this a complex declarative. And we've got these lovely kind of leading ideas. I'm fed up being ridiculed for my regional accent in academia. Okay, so we've got the verb phrase ridiculed. We've got the emotive verb choice. I am, so there's our verb, leading into fed up. Okay, so this is somebody that is frustrated, annoyed. What are they annoyed at? Being ridiculed, being mocked, being laughed at. And what are they being laughed at? So this declarative complex sentence leads us through the emotion. This person feels fed up. Why? Because they're being ridiculed, mocked. And then it leads us into the reason for why they're being ridiculed and mocked. For my regional accent in academia. So this person's fed up because people are mocking their accent in academia. Now, academia here is this noun phrase being used to refer to academic circles. So we've got somebody in the academic arena, professional arena, being mocked because of the way they speak. And actually, it makes them feel what? Shut your face. Makes them feel angry. This is somebody whose tone and perspective is very strong. Okay, our writer has a very strong opinion. They're angry, they're frustrated by how they've been treated. Okay, and they're going to tell us and expound that across the article. Okay, so now I just checked in on some of our answers. In a minute, I'm going to ask you to pause and just complete these sentence stems. Just that reminder that our notes and annotations get translated into sentences, into paragraphs, okay? And this is just kind of representative of an analytical paragraph that's really zooming in on the graphological features, where this text is from, that it's a website, and just spending time looking at that headline. Okay, so in a minute you're going to pause it and you're just going to copy and complete these sentence stems. Now you will see that they are very familiar to the sentence stems that we saw in Article 1. Okay, so just press pause now and copy and complete your sentence stems, taking some of those ideas into complete sentences. Brilliant. Okay, so as an article on the Telegraph website, one of the affordances of this platform would be that it's going to give you access to credible journalism, that it's going to give you access to up-to-date opinions. But one of the constraints is that, again, being a web-based platform, that it might be constrained in terms of being up-to-date, in terms of being completely indicative of what's happening now. So we recognize that online information changes so that it changes so quickly. Guys, you might have just seen my online constraint. Did Gigi and Zane just pop up for you guys? Okay, we might all be distracted now. Yep, she's pregnant. It's all very interesting, but we're going to get back to this. I do apologize for that, guys. Okay, so the title, Shut Your Face, I'm Fed Up, links to the idea that your accent can be. Okay, so it links to your idea that your accent can be used against you, that your accent can be a source of prejudice, that your accent can be a source of, remember from last week, secret shame or pride. Now, the fact that this person's saying shut up suggests that they are proud of their accent, but they are angry and frustrated that other people are using it to judge them. So, again, linking to that idea that social judgments are being made about people based on how they speak. Brilliant. By using the opening exclamatory, shut your face, the writer is immediately creating maybe that hostile, aggressive tone, that passionate, empowered tone. This is a person that's angry, but maybe righteously angry. In other words, they're right to be angry. Okay, so we could have there a hostile tone, an angry, an indignant tone, a challenging tone, and their feelings of frustration and anger are not hidden. Brilliant. Okay, so just make sure if you got any of those ideas and any gaps that you complete that paragraph before we move on.